The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
What time is it?
I started to question myself if I was watching Lucha Underground and I had accidentally flipped over to Cinemax.
Not a whole lot of faces shown as far when it comes to Brenda, so
yeah,
you're spot on there, buddy.
This is the house that AJ Styles built.
Like Nakamura, he's just such a great star. It doesn't matter what you do with him, people are going to cheer for him.
Did you feel the gloriousness? Did you feel it? Bobby Roode did his job.
This is insane how great they are.
Well, I think the authors of pain are young prodigies.
That's how good we are representing Bullet Club. This is what we do. Super Kid Pate! Japan!
Tachi! Tachi!
Hey, we told y'all Titus Worldwide was going to be taking over when we got together. And some of you like, but tonight we showed you that it's for real with our new champ, Chonga Power Tozawa Akira!
Hey!
Tones!
Hey!
Easy! Tell people what you want to tell them, man.
I am new Cruiserweight champion. Jaji!
More money.
Japanese is okay.
Yeah. Tell them in Japanese.
Tell them in Japanese. Orega! Cruiserweight champion! Natta
No, he said Titus Worldwide, Cruiserweight champion ever!
Just the beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the mat.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughan, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leazar.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling to the Max, episode 260, part 1. And of course, guys and gals, let us let you know about something special, and that is the fact that you can come follow all of our great content over at W2Mnet.com, and come find us also wherever you get your podcasts. That's right. Maybe you go check out Apple Podcasts. Maybe you're just a YouTube listener and you want to come find us. Just come find us wherever you can find us and just enjoy all the content that we provide. We'll be giving you, of course, all this great SummerSlam news and all the other stuff that you just want, and so be excited about that. Also, don't forget, you can go check out the W2M Network, also part of our great family here over at W2Mnet.com family, and that's also going to give you not only us, but it's also going to give you also tons of great wrestling shows, plus sports, entertainment, everything pretty much under the sun that you'll ever want to enjoy. And of course, make sure you also go check out, all the other great content, because there's just so much that you're not going to want to miss. Of course, I am your host, Gary Vaughan. Along with me tonight is Mr. Paul Leazar.
Heyo.
And Paul, tonight we are not with Sean. Sean is a little bit under the weather, so we're going to let him take a break tonight, and I'm hoping that he gets healthy and is able to be with us on Friday morning show, because of course that's going to include a lot of fun stuff. We're going to be predicting SummerSlam, NXT Brooklyn, all this other great stuff that I can't wait to talk about. But man, it just sucks that the guy's under the weather tonight. I know he's not feeling good, but I get it. You got to take the night off when you're not feeling good. I've done it before.
Me too. So totally understandable. But I'm with you. Thursday. Friday morning, we have a huge show. We got previews. We got a huge weekend ahead of us, too, because we got to review everything we're going to preview. Plus, myself and the Wrestling Unwrapped crew are going to start our coverage for the Mae Young Classic, because they're doing the bracketology episode after SummerSlam. So, Sunday is going to be insane. Monday morning for you listeners out there on the download, for sure. Going to be a packed docket for you out there if you're interested in WWE at all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to be a candy store for you guys, and I'm really excited about it. I cannot wait to hear that Mae Young Classic coverage by Paul, Harry Broadhurst, and, of course, Patrick Ketzett. Those guys are going to do an amazing job, and it's going to be a treat for me. I plan on watching both the shows and all of the, all the stuff that they've got going for the Mae Young Classic, and then of course tuning in on those. And these guys are really going to give you an education. If you don't know much about these ladies, these guys are going to give it to you because they know almost the entire roster. There's some that they may not know, but they'll give you as much information as they can. And be honest with you, there's a lot of these ladies that really WWE brought in that may not have made the indie circuit, probably didn't do a few things. They're just kind of brought in to see what they can do. So we'll tell you all about that and all that great stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, we of course, have a great show tonight. We want to let you guys know we'll be talking some Ring of Honor and of course showing you some really kind of fun quick hits here. We've got some stories about Ric Flair and Kenny King and different people that you're going to want to tune in. So make sure you stick around for this great show. I am really excited about it. We may be down a guy, a very important guy, but that's okay. I'm really looking forward to it. So why don't we go ahead and let you guys also know that we are going to be doing a SummerSlam post show. I know Paul alluded to the fact that we're going to be getting a Mae Young Classic stuff, but you're also going to be getting a SummerSlam, and you're going to be getting NXT TakeOver. I'm not sure exactly if we're doing NXT TakeOver Brooklyn that same night. I'll be getting in contact with Paul and Sean and kind of figure out how we want to do it. 'Cause sometimes we wait till Sunday night to do both shows. Sometimes we'll do it that Saturday night. Don't know that just yet. So stay tuned, and of course we'll get you that content. So, I don't know what's wrong with me, Paul. I feel like I'm all out of combobulation. It's so funny. Right now, I'm like, man, can I even talk? It's so weird. So this is the weirdest intro.
I never know if I could talk.
I feel like I'm doing the worst intro for everybody listening. They're like, good God, Gary's all over the place. Let me tell you people why I'm all over the place. Okay, so not only do I get the sucky news that Sean's not feeling good, and I feel bad for him. I mean, if I'm not going to tell everybody what's going on. I want Sean to do that because it's his body. I want him to tell that story. But I just feel so bad for him right now. And not only that, late at night, I take the trash out, right? And I do that because I want to get all the trash I can get in the actual trash can, and then I'll just take it out late at night and put it by the curb. That way, bright and early in the morning, the trash guy comes by, takes it away. It's full of everything. That way, less trash in my house. Well, guess what? I didn't realize in the dark of the night that there was thousands of ants on my trash can, and I was eaten alive. My hands were on fire. And so that made my night really pleasant. I'm telling you, Paul. So I don't know if that's distracting me. If it's the world we live in is distracting me. It's just personal stuff going on in my life. Watching the news. My God, Paul, how can I talk even today?
I don't know. I mean, we've had a lot of stuff thrown at us in just the last 2 hours. So
yeah. So I apologize to anybody listening. I know I'm a little all over the page. Trust me. Everything I've said, if you have to rewind and listen to it all over again, it's worth your time because I can't wait to do all this stuff. But I just want to explain to you why I may be out of sorts. And then let's stop talking about me, though. We've got a great show in store for you. So let's go ahead and dive into those quick hits right now, guys.
Let's do it.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
Take it away, Gary.
All right. Well, tonight we're going to talk about Ric Flair. And, usually with Ric Flair, you're talking controversy, you're talking just wild news. Well, we have a little bit more of a humbling experience with Ric Flair. He had to go into the doctor and, of course, the emergency room and get some things figured out this past weekend. There were thought processes going on that he was having some heart issues, and they were really concerned. But eventually they kind of came down to him having surgery, and some of this stuff is private, of course, and they're not giving all the information away. But Mean Gene Okerlund reported that this is more towards the colon area, and this is something that's very, very serious. And, of course, if you watch Monday Night Raw, the WB announce team kind of alluded to that. They were kind of giving their, thoughts, and they were a little bit more humble than I was kind of wanting to see them be because I was kind of getting nervous thinking, man, this must be serious because they're acting like this guy is, right on death's door or something. Mm-hmm. So I got a little nervous watching that. But, this is something serious. And Ric Flair, I mean, my goodness, this guy's been around for a long time, Paul, and he's avoided a lot of things that probably most people wouldn't when it comes to illnesses, and especially for the life he's lived. So this is kind of weird.
This is it seemingly came out of nowhere. Like, apparently the surgery was scheduled, and then just bad stuff started happening, and now we're here, and apparently Charlotte has flown into Atlanta, and like Twitter has just been this outpouring of support. And I mean, like you said, Gary, it's almost as if he is on death's door, and people are already not necessarily throwing in the towel, but it's all the good vibes and prayers and whatever else you send towards somebody who's ill that you want to pull through and survive. And as of 10:30 on the interwebs, apparently the surgery was successful, and now it's all recovery and whatever else has happened to him. That I don't know if he needs more surgery or not, but the post his manager put out on Twitter seemed hopeful. So everything looks to be on the up and up for him, but apparently he's a small brush with death for the Nature Boy. Just one more thing to add on to the long string of things before the promo: jet riding, limousine riding, death sweeping, all these other things,
See, I mean, he's trying to add another championship to his repertoire. See, I mean, John Cena has already tied him, so now he's got to get another belt to, what do you call it? The life heavyweight championship belt. That way, yeah. So Cena, sorry, man, you're getting behind here, buddy. Be careful. So. Like I said, it's just so weird to even think about Ric Flair in the hospital, because he has basically just done the craziest things, been involved in the nuttiest situations that really, honestly, could have taken his life. Hasn't he been in like 2 plane crashes or something like that?
I know he was in one for sure, because it hurt his back so bad. That's why he started bumping off his hip in the late 90s. Late 90s, like the mid 80s, all the way up until he retired. So, I can't remember if he's been in a second one or not. One for sure, though.
Wow. See, that just shows you right there. He's lived life to the fullest, and he's been in some pretty rough situations. So, I mean, I just hope this guy gets better. I mean, he's been one of the biggest forefronts in wrestling overall. I mean, when you say Ric Flair, everybody knows wrestling. Mm-hmm. And just like Hulk Hogan. So, it's maybe time for him to start settling down and understanding, hey, guys, I'm old and my body's not keeping up. So I really do wish him the best, and I hope he gets through this situation and come out of it, fairly good. I know you don't always come out of this exactly ready to rock and roll, but, we'll see. We'll just let you, talking about injuries and being hurt. Pete Dunne actually suffered an eye injury right over the top of his eye, actually, with a belt spot gone wrong. And this is something that's kind of wonky, because, I mean, this is a guy that, is holding that UK title, Paul. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so Progress was set to run shows... run a show, at least in New York, on Sunday. Yeah, it was yesterday, Sunday. And Pete Dunne was going to headline by defending the UK Championship. And apparently, like Eric said, he took a belt spot, and it gashed him either really close to his left eye, or something like that, to where either they thought it might have impaired his vision or something like this. And WWE got real nervous and pulled him from the show. He had another scheduled appearance later on in the week, too, that he's been pulled from. So, I don't know exactly how serious this is. I haven't seen pictures or anything like that, but obviously it had to be something fairly serious if they're pulling him from stuff.
Yeah, that is obviously something serious if they're not allowing him to get in the ring and, basically, saying to everybody, this is kind of stuff we've got to protect our guys from, and we've got to make sure we evaluate him, and it shows their best interest in what he's doing, right? There's not a lot of other promotions that would just be like, oh, okay, that's fine, take the time off. So really happy to see that they're, taking the smart route with Pete Dunne. He is such a great talent and a guy that I love to watch, and I want to see more of him. We never get a chance to see him that much, and yeah, I was kind of wondering if and it hasn't come out, but I thought they were maybe going to defend the UK title at, TakeOver, and now it's going to be the case where he couldn't if he wanted to. So we'll see. We'll keep following that. But I just, you hate to hear guys getting injured like that. It's scary, especially when it comes to the eyes. I mean, my God. I mean, it doesn't take very much to blind somebody, and that would have been the worst case scenario. So glad that at least it wasn't that severe.
11 stitches to close the cut. That is some serious stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that had to hurt. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Serious stuff. So, Pete Dunne, you are one tough SOB, I'll tell you that. Let's talk about something else that I find really interesting, and this is kind of cool. It's something we've been talking about for quite a while, but have not seen this come to fruition. It is official. The ink is dried. We are going to have Adam Cole as a part of the WWE roster. Now, of course, will be with NXT, but he's going to have a WWE contract done. It's already sealed and delivered. This is good. Really excited. I think we've kind of thought we could see him as early as Saturday at TakeOver. Mm-hmm. Tell me what you think about this, Paul. One of the bigger Ring of Honor stars has finally made his way over.
And maybe one of the biggest independent draws on the circuit now with NXT. And honestly, somebody who will be, right at home. Great wrestler, great talker. I think it's somebody who can mold himself very easily to the WWE style. And, boy, they got themselves one heck of a star. Adam Cole is just terrific. He's one of my favorites, and I can't wait to see him work in an NXT ring. It's always surreal when these guys show up in there, right? Like, unbelievable. We've seen Red Dragon. We've seen, Dijak is on his way. Leo Rush is on his way. Like, a Ring of Honor might as well just, put up the ring outside. We can still put on a show, right? I mean, all of our guys are already here.
Yeah, I can just see it now. Jay Lethal's like, oh, crap, I should have signed that contract. No, I mean, you're right. I mean, it seems like all my favorites that we've been watching, except maybe Jay Lethal, have signed now with WWE. And it's exciting, but it's also a shame for Ring of Honor. I have to say that, because these are some guys that really made you want to tune in to Ring of Honor every week. And not having them there, basically, it just takes a little bit of a hit to Ring of Honor. But I think Ring of Honor is doing kind of a good job of getting new talent, and the new talent that you're actually caring about. So I think Ring of Honor is going to be okay. But I think this is great for Adam Cole. He deserves this. He is getting older. And I think he understands that. And I think he sees that, he has some opportunities here in WWE. And if he makes the best of it and goes ahead and steps his foot in the door, he can see where it'll take him. I think he's seen guys like Finn Balor and, some of these other guys that have really decided, like Samoa Joe, to step on out and take that move and see what's going to happen and just trust that they'll get over with their own ability. And I think that Adam Cole will do a fine job. I think he was one of the better mic workers in Ring of Honor. He'll do it here in NXT, and just, I'm really expecting big things out of him,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
What are you expecting, though? I mean, do you expect him to actually show up at TakeOver? I personally do. I think they're going to do it that early. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but how do you feel like they're going to introduce him? And also, do you think there's a certain role that they could use him in NXT?
Boy, we saw him in the crowd at the last TakeOver. There's been some talk on the dirt sheets about them maybe creating a Ring of Honor stable within NXT, and maybe he's a part of it. I don't know. Here's the problem. We talk about this all the time on the NXT shows. Whenever we review him, is that it's so top heavy there, and Adam Cole is definitely a top level guy. But like Bobby Roode is still there, right? I mean, they almost, I don't want to say they have the same gimmick, but really in a way they kind of do. They both think they're better than you. Adam Cole's just a bit more degenerate about it. So I don't really know how they're going to have him show up or anything like that. So I'm interested, especially if he does show up on TakeOver this Saturday, which I wouldn't be surprised at all if he does. Where do you put him? I don't know. I haven't a clue.
Yeah, it's really kind of a situation that the door is open. There's many options, but choosing the right option is the scary part, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, Indiana Jones, choose the cup wisely. There's these beautiful cups in front of you, but if you choose the wrong one, you don't want to start this guy off on the wrong foot. You don't want people to start to not like him, even though he just walked in the door. So I really do want to see how this all takes place. That's what makes me so excited about TakeOver. Not only do they have some great matches coming up at that Saturday show, but I think the introduction of Adam Cole is going to be something special. And I look forward to it. And you said degenerate. I think that's a perfect terminology when you describe who Adam Cole is. And I think that'll also add to the fact that, the glorious one, Bobby Roode, can still kind of have a similar character, but not be the same at the same time. So,
right.
We'll have fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing Adam Cole show up. We got some other big news, and that big news is that GFW has released Adam Cole. Oh my God, I tell you, I'm going crazy. Not released Adam Cole. If they had Adam Cole, trust me, they'd be very depressed. Let me say this again. Let me rewind here, guys. Global Force Wrestling has relieved Alberto El Patron of his World Heavyweight title. Yes, they have stripped him of it because, Patron said to. Weird, huh? But Patron said that it's not fair to, be different. He doesn't want to be considered a favorite. That's why he got to keep his title. So he said, yes, that's fine. He says a scandal's a scandal, but still, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and take this, and I'm going to be the good guy here. I look how nice I am. This is super strange to me, and it's out of character for Patron, if you ask me. I thought Patron kind of held himself, very arrogant, thought he deserved it. Maybe we're seeing something different, or is this another plan in place? Is he really trying to fly under the radar here?
I really don't know. This is seemingly a move. I don't know if it's good faith, or I don't know if it's him trying to just play politics, or if it's him trying to do the right thing, or what this is. But it's understandable, right? If you want to set an example, and he's maybe taking being a locker room leader serious, I think this is fine, right? A scandal is a scandal. Honestly, I'm surprised GFW didn't just strip him from the onset, but and then whenever it worked itself out, they could do whatever. But this comes at a bad time too, because they're taping Destination X, I think this on the 17th, and or not taping. They're either taping before or doing it live. I can't remember for Destination X, and then they're going to tape the rest of their Impact tapings the next day, right? So, or afterwards, or however they're doing it. So, this kind of puts them in a bind, and you have Bound for Glory on the horizon. I feel like this could have been a bit better time, but maybe it's just what if Al Patron's getting kind of gun shy about being on GFW TV now, and kind of wants to step away, or I don't know. I don't know what this is, honestly. It's just so much running through my head right now.
Yeah, I kind of look at this as maybe him trying to get back in favor of the fans. I think he's taken a lot of flack. I really do. And I think he may be more surprised of how much flack he's taken from the fans on all this stuff. And I think he's trying to portray that he's a good guy and he's a good character type person. And I don't know if that's going to sway fans. Heck, I think it's the right thing to do? I kind of think it's the right thing to do because, honestly, this has not really done him any favors, and really people are not really thrilled about him at the moment. So, sure, doing this is going to put you in a little bit better favor. Maybe people think something different of you, but still, I don't trust him. He's not giving me any reason to really have any faith in himself or for me to have faith in him from my point of view. So I think to myself, I kind of think this is a ploy to get, fans to kind of get back on his side. And that way when the next thing comes, he won't look so bad. Or maybe he just has those alternative plans that you're talking about, Paul. Maybe he's trying to find a way out of Global Force Wrestling. Maybe he's kind of a wanderer. He's a journeyman, maybe. He just cannot stay in one place for longer than 5 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And, maybe the stuff with Paige has sort of changed his view on whether he wants to be wrestling full-time or part of the time or whatever schedule he's on. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's probably so much more going on than we're aware of, but this is certainly interesting timing, to be sure.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And so I kind of think, with him relinquishing the title, I think that we're going to see some kind of tournament or something that's going to go down here. That will probably be good for GFW. That could honestly be something that's really, really positive. But not only that, he was still carrying around 2 belts. I think this would be a great time to go ahead and have that unified belt, right? Put it up for grabs and have just that 1 belt instead of carrying around 2. So they can actually work with this and make some sense of all of it. I find it so out of character. It's way out of character. So we'll follow El Patron and see what he wants to do in the future. And maybe it's still with Global Force. Maybe it's just, like I said, trying to get things straight. And if that's the case, good for him. Let's talk about someone else that's actually considering leaving GFW, and that is Angelina Love. And she actually did it instead of just considering it. She has asked for her release, and it was granted. So Angelina Love is no more once again in GFW. Is it a big deal? Not really, but it happened.
It did happen. And really, she was probably just a piece of the puzzle for the Eddie Edwards, Davey Richards feud, which is, I'm assuming, ended at this point, seeing as I think Eddie Edwards is still over in Japan currently, and I think Davey has since left GFW, right, to work elsewhere while he wrestles part-time now, so it makes sense, right? It was a thing that happened, so if you don't see her on TV anymore, that's why.
Yeah, and I got scared for a second there. You said she was a piece of it, and I go, whoa!
Well, Sean's not here. It usually means you and I go a little bit more loose with the tongue.
We got him going tonight, man. Yeah. So, poor. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to move on because I don't want to get too crazy. Let's talk about something that's going to make you go crazy, though, Paul. Hiroshi Tanahashi has cut his hair and dyed it for a movie. I know you have a strong opinion about this.
The best part about this for me has been watching people react on the internet. Facebook, Twitter, like people think he's having a midlife crisis because I didn't know it was for a movie until I looked up some of the news articles for getting ready for the show. But man, when I first saw him, like, oh, like, is he changing gimmicks now? Is he trying to I don't know, try to look younger to fit with what's going on in New Japan? I don't know what he's doing, but clearly he's gone nuts, right? I mean, everybody loves that hair. It's his signature almost, and now it's black and short. Like, he looks. If you just type in Hiroshi Tanahashi, I'm sure you'll find a picture of it real quick. He looks weird, and it looks wrong, Gary. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, and it's strange when guys that you have had a thought process on for a long time, had an image in your mind of, and then the next thing you know, you see them and they're either really old and gray, or they've completely had a complete makeover. I mean, you got to think, like, let's take for example an actress in Renee Zellweger, right? She had plastic surgery. And a lot of people are, oh my God, is that the same person? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. But at the same point, you just have those thought processes still on that former self that they once had that image. And I look at, Tanahashi as being, the John Cena, if I'm not wrong on that. Is it kind of like the John Cena in New Japan? One of the guys that just.
Essentially, I mean, Tanahashi pulled New Japan out of a very dark time where it looked like they might not make it, and suddenly this guy comes in and he's this huge star and a revelation. He's got all this charisma. So, I mean, honestly, the John Cena comparison as far as what they brought to the company, I believe, is true. Maybe not so much about, being the top guy so much so that there's a stranglehold, even though Tanahashi did have that for a time. It's just nobody really complained about it because I mean, you look at Tanahashi's matches, you look at John Cena's matches, and you know who's the better wrestler. No offense to John. I think he's really great at what he does, but Tanahashi's like one of those not once in a lifetime, but he's one of the top, maybe 10 workers to ever lace up a pair of boots.
Yeah, definitely a guy with a big name. And I'm just kind of curious. I mean, from your point of view, you followed New Japan for quite a while now. Do you think that the fans are really going to have a big problem with this, or do you think they're just going to be amazed? Because I'll be honest with you. Let's just say John Cena here in the States, decided he was going to grow his hair out and just, completely change his image, grow a beard. I think a lot of fans would just be kind of weirded out with John Cena looking like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I honestly, I would both not be surprised and maybe a little surprised if the next time we see Tanahashi is like wearing a wig or something.
Oh man!
But I would assume he would own it, and whether this works into a story in New Japan or whether this works into a character change for him or something like that, I don't know. But it'll be really interesting to see how the crowd does react to it. I mean, they love Tanahashi no matter what, right? So I don't know if this is gonna I don't think people are gonna turn on him, but it's wrestling. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I get that too. Yeah, so to each his own. This guy, of course, wants to go do other things too. He's getting older, and hey, he deserves to go do movies just like John Cena, right? So. Mm-hmm. You got to do these kind of things for the part that you're doing. And, we've seen The Rock, one of the biggest figures in, WWE history, go and do a few things, got a little bit more tatted up. In fact, he recently changed his Brahma Bull on his arm. The iconic Brahma Bull we all know and love is completely transformed, Paul. Mm-hmm. And that's what, this kind of story kind of made me think about that one too. So sometimes our heroes just have to make changes.
The Rock's was really interesting, right? He had this big story behind why he got the Brahma Bull and why he's sort of upgrading it, quote unquote. And the new tattoo, it looks cool, right? It's just like there's supposed to be a bull there, Rock. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. It just kind of weirded me out when I saw the new one. Now, I get it; it's neat and all, but I thought to myself, man, it's gone.
It's gone. Maybe he's done wrestling.
Oh, Paul, you can only hope.
I can only dream, right?
You could only hope and dream. Only that. So we'll see, though. He might be, honestly. He makes so much money. I think I'd be through doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, let's talk about something else that's kind of interesting. Kind of tell us about this NWA situation. Several promotions have basically dropped the name.
Yeah, so a lot of the NWA promotions are dropping the NWA from their name because since the Billy Corgan buyout, they don't believe that their license to use the name is going to renew come October when their renewals come up for all the licenses, which is they pay the NWA to use the name, and that's really all the NWA is anymore, right? So this is kind of interesting because it might point us into a direction that Corgan is just going to solo promote NWA on its own without it being this big alliance satellite thing anymore. Or maybe it's just promoters backing away because they don't know what the hell Billy Corgan's going to do with this thing.
Yeah. Like, oh boy, this guy is going to have a dumpster fire and we could be a part of it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I trust me. If I was them, I probably would do the same exact thing. The NWA name, once was grand. Mm-hmm. Has kind of really taken that big dip, but still, you don't want to be associated with something if it is going to be really unknown and you have no idea. Corgan had, I think, a lot of great ideas when he was working with TNA, but yet some of the other ideas we've had him go about have been really controversial and really strange. And I could definitely see if I was a promoter not wanting to put myself at risk, having that name on my title, and then some big things come out. Who knows? Corrigan may, take some things out of what social things are taking place now and put them in place. And then the next thing you know, the NWA's got this huge black mark on it, even, more with society than really in the world of wrestling. So I don't know. You can't blame these people. Is all I can say.
Yeah. They're playing it safe, and you really, like you said, you can't blame them for that, especially when, probably some of their livelihoods are very much tied up into all these promotions. So,
yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what's going on there, and that really, honestly, wraps up our quick hits. I mean, we didn't have a ton, but we had some very interesting things here to talk about, and I think this coming week, we'll have probably some more things take place and really pack our quick hits for this Friday morning show. I'm really a bit nervous because we have so much to cover. Watch, something huge is going to break, and it's going to be like a 45-minute conversation plus all the other stuff we have next week. Or this week, actually, at the end of the week. I'm just nervous, but we'll see. But anyway, let's move on here. We've got some Ring of Honor to talk about, and I'm really excited about talking about a few things here. So let's go ahead and do that right after this.
Let's do it. All right. So Ring of Honor opens this week by recapping the promos and some of the clips from the Best 2 out of 3 Falls RoH title match last week, which leads into Kazarian opening the show with us with a promo where he asks the crowd if they respect Christopher Daniels and himself for what they have done for pro wrestling. He gets a very large cheer, but there are a fair amount of boos in there too, and Kazarian calls them all liars for the reaction that they gave Daniels when he won the title, and based on what they gave Daniels last week, he doesn't believe they respect any of their accomplishments. He believes the fans aren't here to watch wrestling, they're here to get themselves over and throw streamers and say a bunch of stupid chants and all these other things. So now Kazarian is going to make it his mission, Gary, to ruin everything the fans love about Ring of Honor. I'm so excited to see what these guys are going to do. I really am.
I am too. This is going to be something really awesome, I have a feeling. And the first thing I want them to do is, or hopefully they've already done this, I would love to just have that last moment that Adam Cole's a free agent, to have them helping him sign the contract to the NXT. Mm-hmm. I'm just joking, but I didn't think it would be hilarious, right? And then just see the Ring of Honor fans like, no!
I thought you were going to go further with that, and I was quite wrong, yeah.
No. I could just imagine them sitting there going, hey fans, who is one of your favorite stars? Adam Cole, right? Watch this, and have Kazarian over there. Adam Cole. There, it's done. He's no longer part of your realm. And just the fans crying and blood, sweat, and tears, all that stuff. And then Leo rushes over there. I got mine too, guys. Oh boy. Oh, just the thought process. But anyway, yeah, I mean, these guys are going to do a lot more clever things than I'm coming up with right now. I'm being a little corny. These guys are going to be doing something fun. And, there's a multitude of things they could probably do, but I just think they're going to be surprising and having fun with it. And, there's nobody better than the Addiction to do these type of things, right? I mean, they're okay baby faces. They did a good job when it was their time to be the baby face, but they are so great at being the heel. So that's what I'm excited about, and I think it's going to add a lot more to the show.
I completely agree with you. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to see what these guys can pull out. They're tailor-made for this kind of thing, and they're so much better as heels, I think, than faces. So we'll just wait and see what these guys have in store for us. But moving right along, we have this great match here between Flip Gordan and Punishment Martinez, and they go back and forth. They really let Flip Gordan show off what he can do. He really, I think, in a way, competes with Martinez all the way up until he tries to go for his big step-up kicking thing called the Kinder Surprise. Martinez, however, grabs him by the throat and chokeslams him off the second rope to put him down for good. And Gary, does the way that Flip sort of is being maybe booked here, maybe the way they have him perform during these matches, does he remind you of somebody you know and love very dearly who just got signed to NXT recently?
Yeah, it sure does. Leo Rush. I know, exactly. Didn't we see Leo Rush do this already?
Yeah, this feels exactly like how they booked Leo right? Coming out of the Top Prospect tournament, competing, really wowing the crowd, and it just works, right? Flip is so easy, I think, to get behind. The crowd loves him. Naturally, he's wowing you with all of these flips and everything that he's doing. Maybe not as quick as Leo as far as move to move, but he's got the military background, and people they've taken to him super, super quick.
Mm-hmm. And I got to give him credit. That name, Flip Gordan, it's genius.
Yeah, it's apt.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there with Flash Gordan. So I think it works. No, I mean, you're completely right. I mean, this is kind of a takeaway from what Leo Rush kind of started. Mm-hmm. But, what's also neat about this is you got a big guy like Punishment Martinez, and you just think, he's going to come in here and just pretty much squash Flip Gordan. And about, maybe it won't be right away, but in about 4 minutes, it'll be over. But no, they give Flip Gordan all this time and energy and just all the stuff to kind of really work around this big, huge guy. And it honestly is super entertaining. And you get the idea that, this guy could win the match. You've got a big lumbering guy that can't keep up, is wasting a lot of energy in this match. It's finally going to break down, and Flip Gordan's going to have a surprise win, but it's not that way. I mean, Punishment Martinez is maybe not the best guy catching flies, but it don't take him long to finally get you. Mm-hmm. And that's what he does here. He squashes the fly, the guy that eluded him the entire match, and super entertaining. I think it makes good for the story. Mm-hmm. And then also kind of, leads you to believe that, Flip Gordan's got a lot of other great stuff to do, but not only that, Punish Martinez is still undefeated right now.
Yeah, this is definitely an above-average match that I would recommend people go find. Mostly just to watch really Flip Gordan, I think, put on a show, and Punishment sort of keep step with him. These two guys, I think, clicked. There's a lot to do here, and if they ever decide to revisit this somewhere down the road, I think both guys could really benefit from it.
I agree. I'm right there with you.
Someone who's benefiting from it now is Jay White, who attacks Punishment Martinez at the top of the ramp afterwards, and they have a bit of a brawl before security comes in and breaks it up. I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys hook up. I don't know if they're doing it at War of the Worlds this weekend over in the UK, or if they're going to do it at a later date, maybe like Death Before Dishonor or something like that. But this continues to be intriguing. Now, it's nice to see Jay White take the fight to Punishment finally, instead of just getting beat on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And, Jay White's just playing Punishment's game. I'm happy about this. I'm right there as well on the fact that I want to see this match take place. And it will, and I'm excited about it. So I think what they've done here is really built something under the table a little bit here, because they've built it but not really spotlighted it really, really heavily. So now we're finally getting to a point where we're going to get a chance to see it, and I think it's going to be a nice treat for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Moving on from there, you have Kenny King get some promo time talking about how he's only been thinking about the TV title and beating KUSHIDA since the match was announced. And tonight it's going to go to the KING King. And we'll just have to wait and see there, Kenny, because Colt Cabana interviews Sho Tanaka and Yohei Komatsu, better known as the Tempura Boys. They do their promo in Japanese. Colt, however, only understands the word boys. And he does not like boys, Gary. He's had a lot of trouble with them in the past, and he wants them to maybe call themselves like something like the Tempura Men, and they go, no, boys. And Colt's like, I can't take this anymore. Back to you, Colt, because obviously he's doing commentary.
I love it, man. Oh, that's so great. Now, the Tempura Boys are hilarious, too, in their own way. So I like the little comedy segment here. I think Colt did a good job as well.
Yeah, this plays right into Colt's wheelhouse, and of course he's got Sho and Yo with him, who are tremendous inside the ring as well, and this is all building up to something a little bit later. But first, Cheeseburger goes one-on-one with Rhett Titus. Rhett Titus, however, already in the ring, and commentary even mocks him a little bit for getting the jobber's entrance, which I found hilarious, personally.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, wow, there you go. They're already ripping on the guy.
Yeah, it's great. And Will Ferrara, however, as the match goes on, comes out to distract Cheeseburger as he looks like he has things in hand. Titus takes advantage and puts Cheeseburger away with his frog splash that he is now calling the doggy splash because he is, of course, the big dog. And Will Ferrara and Rhett sort of acknowledge each other, so maybe this is a new tag team in the works.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not a bad tag team if they do it. I think it'd be kind of fun to watch them and see what they can do. So, I'm not against that at all. And this match wasn't anything huge or super special, but it got you a little further down the line with the cheeseburger storyline.
It did. And obviously he's going to either have to find himself a partner or something like that, because that's where it looks like this might be heading. And we'll just have to wait and see, of course. But, I mean, everybody loves cheeseburger, right? He does have Mr. Diesel, who's been tagging with him recently, so maybe that's where this goes. But
yeah.
Cody gets a quick promo where he basically makes an open challenge for anybody to come and meet him for the Ring of Honor World Championship, which is endlessly intriguing to me because, one, Ring of Honor has all these relationships, and two, they could really just pull anybody from the indies that they want to come in and challenge them too. So, interesting stuff to be had there. And then Dalton Castle and the boys come out after Colt says he's going to be the one to answer the challenge, and he'll beat him after he's done with Dalton. This has obviously angered Dalton and the boys, who come out and challenge Colt to a 6-man tag team title match because Colt said he's going to bring his own boys. And by his own boys, he means the Tempura boys. So next week it's going to be Dalton Castle and the boys defending the titles against those three. And I'm interested.
I am too. And, maybe not the strongest thing because we're kind of revisiting, Colt Cabana versus, the boys in a way, because it's not all about Dalton Castle. It's really about the boys. But the Tempura boys joining along, it's going to be actually something that I'll find interesting. And, it's also going to be kind of funny to see the Tempura boys as, basically they get in the ring and mix it up with the actual boys. So it's going to be fun. I think overall it's a great setup. It may not be super entertaining. It may not be the best thing that they did on this show. But I think, as time goes on, it'll be exciting to watch. And I just love Dalton Castle in general, and I love Colt Cabana for his comedy. So I think it'll be a good mix.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you entirely. And maybe this will be the thing that finally puts it to bed, and maybe Colt can move on to something else. But we'll obviously just have to wait and see there. We get a hype video for Shane Taylor, who has been randomly beating people up, which I'm all for. And this moves us quickly into what is supposed to be our main event, as Kushida defends the Ring of Honor Television Championship against Kenny King. Much of the match focuses on Kushida, really focusing on Kenny's arm to set him up for the hoverboard lock. He finally locks him into... Well, first he does the hoverboard lock slam, essentially, off of the middle rope, and then that leads into the hoverboard lock. However, here comes Hangman Page and Marty Scurll to ruin the party. They attack Kushida, which allows him to retain via disqualification. They take a really poorly timed commercial break because we don't get to see much of the beatdown, but when they come back, Kenny King and Kushida are standing tall in the ring. Kenny has the microphone, basically challenges them to a tag team match after calling Hangman and Marty Scurll the Bullet Club B team. Obviously, Kenny reads the internet a lot, and this naturally leads us to our Teddy Long tag team match as King and Kushida take on Page and Scurll. Really, really fun match, especially down the stretch. Eventually, Kenny manages to put Page away after a little bit of a flub in setting up a lot of stuff with the Royal Flush to get a much-needed victory. It looks like Ring of Honor seems pretty intent on doing something with King right now, Gary.
Yeah, they are, and it kind of surprises me because I just never saw that coming. Mm-hmm. And excuse me, maybe it's off the the celebrity kind of situation he's been in, being on TV on ABC TV to be exact, I believe, on The Bachelor. So They're taking a little bit of that celebrity and rubbing it off on themselves. Maybe people from The Bachelor kind of come over to see what Kenny King's all about, and that's fine. You got to do that. WWE does it all the time, and GFW would love to do it if they could get people to come on their show from other big things. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Kenny King. I've always thought he deserves a chance, and, something, special is out there waiting for him. And I think he may be getting close to that point. I thought this match overall was pretty good. I think that they, of course, kind of bummed us out because I was really wanting to see that finish to Kenny King and, get in his, trying to get his victory and all that. But I think the Bullet Club entering in is kind of weird. But still, at the same point, I mean, it is what it is. Kushida and Kenny King work pretty well together, too. So, overall, I think I was pretty happy with the way things worked out in this match. And, of course, we'll get the Kenny King and Kushida stuff later. So, not a bad way to kind of give you your final part of this Ring of Honor.
No, not at all. And that wraps up this week's episode. And what an episode it was, Gary.
Definitely. And I think a lot of positive things come out of this Ring of Honor. So go check it out if you haven't already. I mean, this is something that I think really deserves your time, especially for that match with Punishment Martinez and Flip Gordan. Those guys really had a fun time, and it's something that you're not going to miss out on, trust me, because there's some great choreography going on there, if you ask me. But yeah, that is our show for tonight. I mean, I know we didn't have a super long show, but we brought you some content that we think that you're going to, hopefully really enjoy, and hopefully you did enjoy it. This Friday's show is going to be a blast. I mean, this is going to be a show that may actually take us a little longer than usual, so we'll probably give you a short show here. And expect that Friday show to be just a little bit longer because we're going to be talking NXT TakeOver, we're talking SummerSlam predictions, and then we'll be, of course, jumping into some of the other great things like Lucha Underground, Global Force Wrestling, and then, of course, all the big news coming out of the world of wrestling after we do this show. So you're going to be excited. I know I'm going to be excited. Let's go ahead and get ready for that. And also, don't forget, we'll be doing 2 shows. That's right. We'll be doing the NXT TakeOver show and the SummerSlam show. We'll be doing both those either Sunday night or we'll be doing them Saturday night and Sunday night. We haven't decided yet. That's why it's important to go ahead and subscribe, and make sure you get on whatever device you use to listen to us. Make sure you go ahead and get us subscribed. That way it'll just pop up in your docket. You don't even have to think about it. You just go look at the doc and look at there. I got the show, guys, and you can go ahead and listen to it right then. So make sure you go do that. We're also going to let you know that Paul and Tom are probably going to be doing the G1. I think they'll be doing it actually following this show. It's going to be a G1 special. They'll be talking about the finals, but not only that, talking about the best of the G1, some of the great stuff that they really enjoyed in the tournament, and really giving you guys a full discussion and basically review over the whole event. So it's going to be really awesome. I'm really looking forward to hearing these guys talk about it. Make sure you go check that out. And of course, make sure you go subscribe, rate, and review, like I said, at Wrestling to the Max or the W2M Network. Go check out W2Mnet.com as well as 411mania.com. All that great stuff. We are just going to have so much fun this week. I am so stoked about everything. So come and join us. And to let you guys know, I am Gary Vaughan. He is Paul Leazar, and we will catch you guys down the road.
Have a good one, guys.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.